we're starting this week with a new moon. Okay, we're starting this week technically in a couple hours. Mercury's moving into Gemini. Then we have a new moon, and then we have a lot of positive aspects to Gemini energy. And we have Jupiter in Gemini. Jupiter's been in Gemini for the last year. And then we have a Mercury Kazimi happening. So a lot of this week is like mentally stimulating and kind of like bringing creativity and creations to the forefront. Like it's actually bringing ideas to life this week. Like it's going to be cool. I think it's going to be cool. So are we ready to get into it? I can talk about astrology forever, and that's why it's just entertaining to like be doing what I do now. My mom's husband is hammering something. Someday they will sponsor me. Someday. My electrolytes. You're already in. Let's go. So, pulling up my calendar here. Yeah, there's like, okay. This new moon in Gemini specifically is like, it's like an initiation of thought. Okay, so I want you guys to think about this like in cycles. I'm going to kind of jump around a lot with this Gemini energy, and that's just the nature of Gemini. I'm going to be making a lot of points, and hopefully I can like connect them all, this like web of thought that is occurring. So we've had Jupiter in Gemini, and I want to look up the exact dates. And you might be wondering, why are you bringing up Jupiter? So yeah. Cool. Why does that look wrong? Don't trust Google's AI for jack shit. Yeah, I was like, this is bullshit. This is okay. Small little premise. AIs don't get astrology correct and like transits correct because that's future thinking or like specific dates, and it'll try to calculate things incorrectly. So you need to be careful. Like if you're using any like AI to help you with astrology stuff, just be careful because it really struggles with it. It really struggles with it. Like I just saw Google's AI say that Jupiter entered Gemini May 14th. And I was like, that's not true. Jupiter's been in Gemini since last year. So that's where you have to really use your discernment, okay? And be very careful. So Jupiter has been in Gemini since last year. Yeah. So, okay. Random side tangent, as the nature of Gemini energy, I have worked in industries that have used AI, and I actually worked in AI news. So that's where you have to be very, very careful with not creating what's called, there's a specific word that we use. I can't recall what it is, but there's a specific word where it's basically lying to itself and lying to us, and it doesn't know it because it's just grabbing information and just making guesses. So you have to be very careful with AI. Then I also worked with AI in education, which you have to be very, very careful with because you can't be spreading misinformation to students. So use your discernment, trust your knowledge, and then like it is a good tool for like menial tasks. Like yesterday my cat caught a frog and it was clearly a poisonous frog, and it was actually a toad. And so I was going to jump on ChatGPT, and I was like, no, I need to like know what frog this is first before it just like says your cat's gonna die, which is what it first said. And so I figured out what kind of frog it was, and then I, you know, you have to be very specific with your inputs to get the outputs that you want. So if your inputs are like just very vague, like this, it might be wrong. So anyways, back to our regularly scheduled program. Yeah, fact check. And that's, I've been really training my mom on that because she loves to use ChatGPT for everything. And I was like her coffee machine was broken, and I was like, did you give it the model? She's like, no, I just gave it the brand. I'm like, well, different models have different issues. Like, you need to tell it what model it is, and it will tell you what the issue is. Like, you have to be very specific about your inputs to get the outputs that you want. And then it can be a really great tool. So, you know, anyways, so Jupiter entered Gemini last year on May 25th. So actually a year ago today, and will be in there until it's going to move signs in a couple weeks. And that's why this energy is kind of potent this week of new moon in Gemini, with Jupiter having been in Gemini for the last year, kind of prepping this energy. And like, so this is where it's like the astrologer and teacher in me says, like, pause, look at your natal chart. Where's Gemini in your natal chart? And like, see, that's where Jupiter has been bringing in blessings, has been bringing in expansion. Jupiter is all about expanding ourselves and like allowing ourselves to let light in. And it shines light on this area of our chart. Jupiter is a benevolent planet, which means good, kind, wants to give you all the presents and happiness. So depending on where Gemini is in your chart, Jupiter has been kind of prepping this energy. And so now this week is kind of like, I had a very specific word that I wrote down. Let me look at my Notion notes. And normally I don't actually like look at my notes. There we go. This new moon is like full of massive mental breakthroughs. And okay, I'm now getting excited to talk about it, because that was like my little like point of like, now all this information's coming through. It's why I like jotted it down. So not only is this new moon like bringing in this really epic Gemini energy and mental breakthroughs, it's trine Pluto in Aquarius. So Pluto is all about breaking pattern. Oh my God, there's a hummingbird outside. I have not seen a hummingbird around my house ever on this property right now. So that felt good. That felt really good. So I feel like I keep starting and then I keep stopping and I keep starting and then I stop. So breaking down new moons in general, new moons happen when the sun and the moon are conjunct in the same sign. And that's when the moon is at its darkest, and it represents the start of a new lunar cycle. And so this is the time to set intentions, to plant seeds, to really ground into the next cycle and like what that looks like. And we usually reap what we've sown on the full moon, and then we like release and prepare for the next cycle. And if you are somebody with a womb, you go through this phase every 28 days within your own body. And so it's like, this is a very lived experience that we have as women. This new moon in Gemini, the fact that it's trining Pluto brings in breaking mental thought patterns. Like, it feels so exciting, especially because we had this full moon in Scorpio, and as that's coming to close, it's like a reprogramming of the mind is happening with this new moon. There's an opportunity for you to break through of like old thought loops, of old patterns within your mental realm that are stopping you from actually achieving what you desire. And that's why I'm saying, look at where Jupiter's been. What has Jupiter maybe been trying to bring in for you and you've been resisting, like mental patterns. It's giving this like breakthrough clarity energy, and suddenly like a downpour of like clarity coming in. The word clarity has been actually coming in really strong lately for me, now that I'm actually thinking about it. And I'm hearing the like song by Zed, Clarity, and then I have one of my favorite artists, Bo. She has a remix of that song, and it feels very like getting like this new moon is your opportunity to get really clear about what you truly desire. Yeah, exactly, Tasia. Yeah, I likewise. And I feel as though, and I know that my audience and the people that connect with me are actively like looking at themselves in the mirror and like navigating life in a way that you are taking radical responsibility for yourself. And that looks like looking at the toxic patterns and looking at the other patterns, you know? And saying toxic is like it's real. And I also feel like they're just all patterns, and they're all patterns to keep us safe to some degree. And it's like, where are we actually going to break free and break out of our comfort zone? And I'm being reminded, and now I'm getting chills. Where's the book? I have the book. Did I get rid of this book? I didn't think I did. Is this it? Yeah. This book, The Big Leap. This is such an epic book if you haven't read it before. He talks about our zone of genius, which it's this threshold that is outside of our comfort zone, and it's like this space. And I always bring it up to students of like, I like to tell my students, like, your only limitation is your imagination. And so it's like, where are you limiting yourself? And like, and usually our limitations come up from past programming, from ways that we're trying to keep ourselves safe and keep ourselves from being seen or keeping ourselves small. And it usually stems from some sort of situation that occurs in childhood where, you know, you get scolded for being too loud or too messy or, you know, whatever. And so your body holds that and is like, I can't do that. I don't want to have that reaction ever again. So then you alter your behavior and you create a pattern that keeps you from expressing XYZ. So this book is specifically about like career and doing things that challenge you. It talks about your upper limit. And I feel like that's what's really coming up right now, is like this new moon in Gemini is introducing you and breaking you through your upper limit, which is that sort of hump that you're like, I just can't get over that. And it's like this sort of thing that we put above us that like, I can't actually achieve that. I can't get to that. And so my challenge with this new moon is like, what if there was no like cap? What if there like was no roof to the reality that you wish to be in? Like, what would you do? How would you live your life? How would you show up in the world? How would you be in that embodied energy of having X, Y, and Z? That's a beautiful form of manifestation if you're not aware of it. You know, actually settling into the energy and having it within yourself. And, you know, for my book club members, we're talking about mastery of love and, you know, the magic kitchen. Like, what if your kitchen's already full and you have everything you truly desire? Then like, there's no limitations, right? This, yeah, I'm excited for this new moon. So this new moon is happening tomorrow, Monday, the 26th, and it's happening later in the evening. It's happening at 8 p.m. PST, and it's at 6 degrees of Gemini. So again, this makes a loose trine to Pluto in Aquarius. And so when we bring in this Pluto Aquarian energy, It brings in a helping hand to break through of these patterns. And it's like these thought loops, you know, it's like what keeps running on repeat. And I think I shared this example with my book club members. And, you know, I last year around this time, actually, I went through a health scare and I had to completely change how I viewed my relationship to food. And I literally did not think that I could do that. I literally did not think that I could, like, my brain was so wrapped around a specific identity with food that, like, I was like, there's no way. And then I was like, you're limiting yourself by holding on to this thought and this idea of like what food means to you. Like, what if it was different? And so I let myself chew on the idea of like, it could be different. It could be different. And then my actions started following through with that thought of like, it can be different. I don't have to, you know, like make food the center of my life. I'm a Taurus, guys. I love food. I do love food, but I made it like I want it all the time. And I was using it as a form of numbing. And so like reprogramming, and you can see my face got red because I got embarrassed, but it's real. It's real. Like it genuinely was a form of coping that I had from such a young age. But I was able to move through that and shift that belief. And it feels like this new moon is going to be breaking through stuckness that's going to open up. And I like, you know, when like on Jimmy Neutron, when he's like thinking and it like goes through his like neuro pathways, it's very much like that. And like you're repatterning things in your brain. And it's like the idea, like you can't actually teach new or old dogs new tricks. Yeah. And yeah, it's such an interesting thing. Food is our society is so disconnected from like respecting and honoring food. And I think like bringing that into like how I relate to my body has been really powerful. Yeah. I feel like I could make a whole video on specifically like understanding our body's connection to food, and like there's not one size fits all. It's not built that way. That's where like inner knowing comes in. And like for me, my body is super sensitive and I have to honor that. Like going to EDC last weekend, I didn't eat any of the food there. We packed all of our food. I lived off of like beef sticks and cheese and turkey roll-ups. And that for me is totally fine. Like I was fully content and like had my, you know, fats. I had my, you know, protein. I was good to go. Yeah, instead of like, and it's weird because it's like, even the food didn't even look good to me. And that's because like, I care what goes into my food. Like yeah, that's a whole thing. Anyways. So also happening on the 26th, because Mercury moves into moves into Gemini. It's going to be sextile Neptune. Okay, so a sextile is a positive energy flow. And so we've got Mercury in Gemini, sextile Neptune. And so this is like, oh gosh, it sets such a great foundation for this new moon because it's happening before the new moon. So Mercury sextile Neptune happens a couple hours before the new moon, and it creates this connection to the psychic realm, right? Neptune is our planet of unconditional love, of spirituality, of psychic energy, and a sextile to Mercury creates this like broadened connection to deeper facets of yourself. And the fact that they're both in masculine signs, so fire and air, it creates this like, feels like a jump start kind of energy, but it's not like overwhelming. It's just kind of like, oh, we'll just drop this sign into their reality. It feels like very like serendipitous, this sort of energy of just like, here, let's just here's this dream for you to ponder on that's going to help, you know, bring some things into fruition for this new moon. Or here's some ideas for you to, you know, a video to pop up that mentions X, Y, and Z, which is what you've been like pondering on, you know? And so it's kind of like this like gentle nudge and opening of pathways for your mind to start creating a foundation for this new moon in Gemini. So then we have this new moon in Gemini, and I feel like I've been talking about a lot about it, but this is like, to break it down, and I have my notes up, what I wrote. So like I said, it's a threshold as we're entering it in. I feel like I use the word threshold all the time, but we're stepping into mental clarity. With Pluto here, it brings an undercurrent of transformation, which can be like a mental detox, paradigm shifting ideas, and like a hunger for truth. Those were and it's like, it's not truth that just sounds good. It's truth that changes you. So a lot about this new moon is rewriting your narrative, like almost looking at the script that you've been following for this life currently, presently, etc. And like, what do you want that script to actually be? Like, if you could sit down and write the new season of your life, like season 2 just ended, and that feels very like, yeah, the fact that Saturn just moved into Aries, like a season just ended. I feel like this is a whole new spin-off series that's happening. Like, what is it? Like, I don't even know. I'm like thinking of Shonda Rhimes TV shows like Grey's Anatomy, and like, what are the other ones? Private Practice. Yeah. So it's like a whole nother spin-off that's happening. And it's like, actually, you get to be the main character of this one. So what's it look like? There's a need for you to update your inner script. What are you saying on repeat in your head? Can you change that? Can you catch those thoughts and rewrite them? So I want to run through the rising signs briefly and touch on them, because I'm going to be uploading this to YouTube, and I do want my YouTube audience to have a sort of touching point to touch on. So, and if you are watching the recap, hi, yeah, this is unedited Izzy in full swing. Normally my videos are edited and all the random stuff's cut out, but so I'm going to briefly go through the rising signs and talk about them. I wrote little blurbs for each one. All this info is going to be on my newsletter also, so if you haven't grabbed my newsletter, get on it, please. So for Aries Risings, this is happening in your 3rd house. And for Aries Risings, I always tell you guys, take everything I said and amplify it, because it's in the natural. You have the natural chart. So it's time for you to upgrade your mindset. Okay. Daily communication is going to be coming up. 3rd house talks about family, but mostly siblings. So connections with siblings could be changing how you view your siblings. There's a need for you to actually start planting seeds in writing, teaching, learning, or like how you consume social media too is really important for my Aries risings. Yeah. Speak from truth and not from reactivity. And Pluto wants you to have more depth here, not just noise. So I'm so sorry. I really wish I was not sick. It's going to go away. It's going to go away. But for Taurus risings, this is happening in your 2nd house. And essentially your 2nd house, it's interesting putting Gemini in the 2nd house, because it makes me really think about like your nervous system too. So rewiring your beliefs around like your body and how you relate to your body. Also your beliefs around your worth and what you value. This is an opportunity for you to look at how you can use your voice to change the reality around you. It's so powerful. This new moon in general, for everybody, it's powerful for you to like speak what you desire into fruition. For Gemini risings, this is happening in your 1st house. So it's right on your ascendant, which is about your ideas and like who you are and like your identity. And this is like your annual reset. It's a new moon on your ascendant. So new identity, new direction, new self-expression. And Pluto here is trining and can offer this ability for total reinvention. You can use this new moon to really find those foundational pieces to become who you want to be. Like I said, rewriting the script. For Cancer risings, this is happening in your 12th house. This is, you know, hidden from you on a certain level. So this is more of a subdued renewal because this mental clarity comes from you. It's giving like Four of Swords energy where it's like you're just resting and recharging. I could see sleep being deeply impactful for you at this new moon where you're actually taking time to rest and allowing, you know, thought patterns to break in the dream realm. There's a lot of need for you to let go of unconscious fears or like looping thoughts and how you kind of get caught up in the fantasy of like the looping thoughts instead of taking action. There's deep healing here that is available when you pause long enough for you to hear yourself. For Leo risings, this is happening in your 11th house. So this is the opportunity to speak intentions into friendships, networks, and your greater vision at large, right? So speak your truth into community spaces. Your voice has like extra potency here to lead. And Pluto here reminds you that the people you surround yourself with shape your future. So cool. All right, Virgo risings, this is happening in your 10th house. Hey, I'm so stoked for this. Fresh career ideas, renewed public image, leadership through communication. This is the opportunity for you to announce something, pitch yourself, or redefine success, right? Don't downplay your authority here. I'm speaking to myself. Pluto is really pushing you to own it. Okay. For Libra risings, this is happening in your 9th house, which is asking you to expand your mind, to look beyond the dogma that you've been raised in and actually break free of old limiting patterns within your belief systems. There's a shift in spiritual or philosophical outlooks here. There is this ability for you to actually speak into a new belief system and actually like feel it in your bones. All right, Scorpio risings. Hey, this is happening in your 8th house. So this is offering you the ability to transform your relationship to trust, vulnerability, and shared power, right? The 8th house is all about like shared resources. This is your opportunity to begin healing unspoken fears. Pluto here can help support alchemizing pain into wisdom. But you have to name them first. Like it's like invoking your fears. Like what an invocation is, that's what's coming to mind here, where it's like you have to, it's like saying your fears aloud. And like actually invoking them, but allowing yourself to be with them. And I think you're already currently working on that, my Scorpio rising friends. Sagittarius risings, this is happening in your 7th house. So this is all about partnerships, relationships. There's the opportunity for fresh conversations, agreements, actually speaking your needs out loud, listening fully. This is such a beautiful energy for relationships. There's also you might be attracting people into you as mirrors, and this is your opportunity to use them consciously, you know, to see a person reflecting you back to you and like speaking light and love into them and like actually receiving that back. For Capricorn risings, this is happening in your 6th house, and this is all about routines. So there's an upgrade to your routines, rituals, and mental habits around your work environment or health specifically. There's a need to recognize that productivity doesn't actually equal your worth. there's an ability to rewrite that. So actually like looking at that narrative of like, I have to be producing things, I have to be building things, I have to, but there's also a need here to be like, if you don't have that structure or routine in place, that this new moon in Gemini is giving you the opportunity to look at your routines and find something that works. It's like a breaking through a barrier that's keeping you from actually creating the life you desire by having a routine. Aquarius risings, this is happening in your 5th house. So that's about creativity, romance, self-expression. So the ground feels very fertile here. And there's like, I'm hearing like, say what you want to say. I can't sing because my voice, but like, say the thing you're scared to say. Create the thing you're scared to create. Like, this is the perfect fertile ground for you to be like, I'm gonna just, it's like, fuck it, we ball. Like, just do it. Just do it. Pluto also helps here with giving you charisma points, basically. Like, stop. It feels like stop filtering yourself or editing yourself to appease certain people. Like, people want you. They want all of you. And for Pisces risings, this is happening in your 4th house of home, your inner foundation, family, emotional security. This is a good time for ancestral healing and like looking at the thought patterns that were passed on to you by parental figures or by your ancestors. There's like speaking healing into your lineage. Like, you're actually the one here to break the spell. And this new moon feels like such a good opportunity to actually like lean into that. So that's the energy coming up. Let me get the chat back. There we go. And that's just a brief overview of how the moon's affecting the rising signs, which is super fun. Let me look at the time here. Okay, that happened at, okay. I'm just trying to remember timestamps. So when I'm like posting this on YouTube, I can timestamp the rising signs. We have more transits happening this week. Don't you worry. Let me get the calendar back up here. Cool. Let me, questions, comments, concerns. No? Cool. Great. So that's all happening tomorrow. All that's happening tomorrow. And then we move and I'm looking here, nothing. Thursday, May 29th, the sun and the Mercury the sun and Mercury will be conjunct. Anything that's conjunct the sun is called a Kazimi. Just a fancy astrological word to say conjunct the sun, but it's fun to say. So we are having a Mercury Kazimi happening on the 29th. Now this is like really exciting because when can a Scorpio rising see actions, career and such? For career, oh, thanks for the follow. Whomst followed. Oh, thanks, Jules. Thank you. Not me going to look at your chart, Tasia. Because your chart's a little bit different. Just because of the, yeah, where you were born. So your 10th house, Deja, is in Virgo. So whenever Virgo season comes in, so sun in Virgo or any planets in Virgo, that's going to be more supportive towards career stuff. So yeah, we've got some time for career stuff. I'd also say whenever like Mars enters Virgo or Venus in Virgo, which we've got a couple months, I don't have the exact dates on those for you specifically. But yeah, career stuff definitely happening a little bit more in the fall. So maybe have just a fun summer. Just have a fun summer and enjoy yourself. because like that's kind of the energy that's coming up, especially with this Gemini energy. It's like curiosity and creativity and just like having fun and like enjoying life. So at least that's what I plan to do. This conjunction that's happening on the 29th, the Mercury conjunct the sun, it's sort of like, whoa, sorry guys. It's like taking this seed that we are planting on the new moon and like throwing some really good fertilizer on it. So there could be breakthroughs happening on this upcoming Thursday that pertain to this sort of rewiring and reconfiguration of the mind space in whatever house it's falling in your natal chart, and really expanding that. Whenever Mercury is conjunct the sun, anything conjunct the sun, it's like an amplification of it. And it's interesting. I'm thinking of like amplifiers, like an actual amp, but I also was thinking of it in the magic sense of, if you've read any like fantasy books, sometimes there's magical artifacts that amplify somebody's power, and that's really what Kazimis do. They like amplify the energy of said planet. So we've got Mercury conjunct the sun in Gemini. Mercury's at home in Gemini. That's why this is so potent. So it's like mental stimuli to the umpteenth degree. It's like really taking this sort of clarity and mental, like, again, I keep getting like visions of like neural pathways like clearing, and it's like, it's like things unlocking, things finally making sense. It kind of reminds me of like when your brain fully develops. I know for me, when I made it past the age of 25, that I was like, oh, this is what they meant. Like, this genuinely is like, no wonder I didn't have the skills under the age of 25 to make like rational decisions. My brain literally was not fully developed yet. And I've been loving a fully developed brain. So if you're under the age of 25, I'm so sorry. It's okay. Take the advice of your elders, but also trust yourself. But also, like, we know a thing or two. Like, if I could go back to my 19-year-old self, I'd say, don't get engaged. Whatever. The plot thickens. It's fine. It's fine. I like it. But I don't know. I'm just really excited for this Gemini energy. I want to develop. You'll get there. You've got this. You've got this, Jules. You'll get there. And plus, I believe you're in the community. You're with us. Like, we've got you. Yours is like, so. Why'd you have to bring in my favorite number? And it's literally 77 degrees out right now. That number keeps popping up for me. What are they saying? What are the signs saying? I posted this meme on my Instagram story where it's like, I have to read it because I think it's so funny. Me knowing everything will be okay because I saw 1111 on the microwave. That's me. Me when I see 77. My mom said, call me when I'm done with my stream. You know, whatever gets me through the day. If it's a repeating number on the microwave, I'm here for it. Again, this week just feels very like mentally stimulating, and it really is creating this ground for us to launch into our creative ideas, into creative projects and pursuits, and allowing us to, it's almost like questioning the reality you've been in. It's like, is this where I really want to be? Like, what does it look like elsewhere? And you might not actually like it over on the other side. You know, they say the grass is greener on the other side. And you might get there and be like, I actually don't like this. I'm going to go explore over here. I had this like imagery of like Gemini energy is like turning over every stone. Like, you're going to explore and turn every stone over to see, like, is this what I want to do? Nah. Is this what I want to do? Nah. But I did like that a little bit, but there's a couple things that maybe I'll like over here. And so it's like, there's a lot of things shifting and changing. And I think, you know, even with wearing these butterfly earrings, I think of just the metamorphosis process that the butterfly goes through, and like the transformation, and like the curiosity of like moving from plant to plant, and just like the symbolism of butterflies and what they represent, which is like transformation. Like there's so much transformation in the air this week, especially revolving around the mind and our communication. It's like I can see people talking to other people differently, and just no longer holding on to, I don't know, it feels like very, it's kind of like letting go of anger is what I'm feeling too. And then let's see. Oh, I skipped that. I thought I talked about it. I guess I'm jumping around a little bit. On the 27th, we have Mercury trine Pluto. And so we felt the sun trining Pluto here. And now with Mercury trining Pluto, it brings in this, again, like I said, this new moon energy is kind of just like the forefront of this week. It's really setting a foundation for us. And with Mercury trine Pluto on the 27th, so that's Tuesday. Sorry, I already said I was going to be jumping around a bunch, and that's just the nature of Gemini, and I just work here. So what's happening is very akin to just the energy. Mercury and Pluto are having a harmonious conversation that's supportive, and again, there is this bridging of transformation through communication. So I really deeply feel, speak what you desire into existence. Your words have magic. That is why my tagline for my business, Astrania, is using words as magic. I am a Mercury ruled person. I know that what I say has power to it. And now everybody's getting the opportunity to tap into this as well. It's not like it's never available, but this week it's so potent. It is so potent for you to use your words with discernment and power. Like, I'm just seeing like you could build or break things with your words here. And it's like, how do you want to use your words? Are you going to use them as a weapon? Or are you going to use them as a salve? You know, like, how are you going to heal? How are you going to hurt? It's really, that's the thing about Gemini energy and Mercury energy, is it's neutral. It depends on how you choose to wield it. Mercury trine Pluto brings in this ability to transform things through your communication. I'm feeling really encouraged to tell you guys, like, mirror work. Talk to yourself in the mirror. Talk to your food. Talk to your pets. Talk to the plants. Like, what you say out loud is powerful. And I'm just thinking of an incident this morning where I haven't prayed out loud in a long time, and I was just like, oh, this is very interesting. And then I did notice yesterday I was talking to myself more. That's normally just happening up here, but I was actually speaking out loud to myself, and I was actually saying, like, talking myself through some of the things that I'm moving through, and that can be very helpful here. And that's what Mercury trine Pluto is like, really like move through transformation by speaking, by writing. Journaling's powerful here. Write your intentions, especially with this new moon. So really, really powerful energy. And then nothing happening on Friday. The moon moves into Leo. Yeah, it feels so good. Like, literally, I feel, I can't even describe it. And again, that's why I feel like I've been sick, because there's been a lot that's been purging, especially like throat chakra. Like, it's been gross. I'm not going to talk about it, but it's not been fun. But it's been like, I'm also deeply surrendering to it. And I'm like, yep, this is what's happening. My body's moving through stuff and stagnant energy, and it's all just coming out in the form of phlegm. It's gross. Then Sunday the 1st, Venus will be conjunct Chiron. It's fine. It's fine. So for those of you who are not familiar with Chiron, Chiron is the wounded healer. It's an asteroid. It talks about the wound that we have, that we heal by helping other people with that wound. Now, with that being said, we take Venus, our lover, and we put them together, and it's like, this brings in this edge of vulnerability, is how this feels. Worse than Venus? No, it's not a bad thing. It's actually like, it feels very healing within the realm of how we love, how we give and receive love, and especially around our self-love, because Chiron's in Aries, so we've been moving through the wound of who am I, like, and really facing the like false projections and facing like our wounds with our self-identity. And with Venus coming here, it's kind of like, I feel like she's bringing, I feel like this can go either way, just depending on where you're at mentally, where it might be like, does Venus get sucked down into the void that Chiron is in, where it's like, I don't know who I am, I don't know, and Venus kind of goes with it, and it's like, like, I don't love myself. It could go down that route. But if you've been going through the lessons that the Venus retrograde offered us, and like really boistering up your self-esteem, like, she can be and comfort Chiron here, where it's like, hey, like, actually, I'm going to deepen my self-love practice, because it's like bringing up a tender space within your self-identity that needs more love, that needs more adoration, needs more attention. And it feels just like, I'm seeing like just giving a part of yourself like a warm hug here. It feels like just like a lot of like self-comfort happening on this upcoming Sunday. And again, it really just depends on where you're at in your journey with your self-love practice. It can always go either way. Again, I always say transits are opportunities for growth, whether that's affirming that you have been growing and it's not as heavy, or it might bring things up and bring things to the surface. So that is that. So quick recap. On Monday, the 26th, Mercury will sextile Neptune. Later in the day on the 26th, we will have a new moon in Gemini. On the 27th, Mercury will trine Pluto. On the 29th, the Sun and Mercury will be conjunct, also known as a Mercury Kazimi. And then on Sunday, June 1st, Venus will conjunct Chiron. Ooh, jazz hands. Nice. Me looking at the transits ahead. Nice. Cool. Okay. That was fun. Y'all have a good time? I had a good time. Having a good time. I know. When I was looking at the calendar, I saw Venus moving into Taurus next week. We have Jupiter moving into Cancer, Mercury moving into Cancer. All the fun things. I'm excited. Like, yeah. If you haven't watched my Saturn and Aries video, go watch. I saw somebody had commented that they had just gone through Saturn moving through the 8th house and just how heavy it was, and that's what I'm about to go through. And I'm like, but like in a good way. Like, I'm ready for the work. Tomorrow's Memorial Day, and I'm really hoping local coffee shops are gonna be open, because I kind of want to like go hang out at a coffee shop. But I guess if they're not open, I'll just hang out at home. And I'm hoping jiu-jitsu will be open. We'll see. We shall see. I'm trying to feel if there's anything else that wants to be said. I think my biggest advice is just like, use your voice. this week, whether it's actually speaking out loud to people or to yourself. Yeah, it's really powerful right now. Very, very powerful. And if you're just hanging out and you haven't followed me, you should follow me. And that'd be cool. And if you haven't followed, like, my YouTube, subscribe. There's all my links. Wanna? My readings are open for June. I'm excited. I have a couple of readings coming up this week that I'm really excited for. And oh, there's 2 ducks in the pond. Cute. I just love what I do. I'm really grateful for all of you and just the support and people choosing to be on this journey with me. And also I'm like deeply grateful for people just actually putting in the work to create the lives that they want to live. And like, I'm just inspired by everybody that surrounds me. Like, genuinely, I'm just in awe of the people that are in my day-to-day life. Like, I'm like, I just have such cool people, like, in my community, in my family, new friendships forming. It's just like, if you're not feeling this energy, like, I truly am like, I have like an entirely new cast of people in my life. And I just, like, this is something I've been like truly wanting for a long time, is like really awesome friendships and community and to be doing the things that I love. And genuinely, like, without you guys, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing. So yeah, that's just me saying thank you.